killing. I'm watching the view and me talking.
Hunter. I don't know where everyone is.
Figured I had a free morning.
I
Things.
swore I just clicked share. Small train. Bill, it's perfect timing for you to be here because I have mold that they found in my buyers under contract.
Yeah, tested.
They had it tested,
And.
came back high. But it's the one that the word looks like asparagus. And
How did they do it? Did they do a take lift? Did they do a quality test?
great question.
I was recommended for a quality test.
They did it in a couple of areas I know. And they said it all looks like it's coming from the utility room. We sent an old guy out there yesterday. He does all these things. I just talked to the agent. The agent's like, she has lived in this house for 50 years. She had water jugs from when she first moved in the basement. That they just emptied down the drain that was there in the utility room. I'm like,
Okay.
oh my gosh, 50-year-old water and drugs.
But dumping it down the drain shouldn't matter unless the drain backed up.
Yeah,
But that's common,
Yeah.
especially if you're introducing anything like humidifiers or anything like that, to the furnace. You can end up with a lot of moisture in those rooms. Plus, there's not a lot of ventilation.
yeah,
And the key to preventing moisture is ventilation. So.
yeah. So I'm thinking if they move everything out, pop a little window open that's in that room. Is that open? I don't know if it opens. Like, that might solve everything. Cause everything that he was saying was like. HEPA clean up mold. It was
With a remediation, it was, let's just get some ventilation in here,
kind of,
move these
yep,
moisture molecules out of here, so.
yep,
Yeah, HEPA stands for high efficiency particulate air.
yeah. Yeah, I was thinking about HEPA. Let's see, don't they do that in the hospitals? I feel like I heard about all of this during the COVID.
HIPAA,
No, but like the COVID, they were like, everything needs to be
oh,
crazy
yeah,
ventilation.
because they wanted to,
They didn't want to spread COVID,
give
yeah,
2 weeks curb the.
yeah. What's
Yeah.
going on with their play?
Was that found in an inspection?
Yep,
And are you representing the buyer this time?
yep, the buyer. Why am I struggling, Hunter?
I don't know. Let me take a look.
And where is everyone? Oh, there we go.
Well, 9:35. Probably till like 10:40. If not, we can do a one-on-one. You can just.
That's a negotiation game. Or it requires at least 2 people.
So can I finish that?
Yeah, yeah.
My feel is that he was on a 20-year loan.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's paid off 100,000 of his principal, well, 80,000 of his principal in 2 years. And he told me he's got a 20-year loan, so I think he may even be doubling up on his payments.
This looks
But
great.
I think this guy's looking for a loan.
Yeah.
However, I got a backup,
Okay.
because I got another house that was bought by a guy in 2022. Never been lived in. We replaced all the finishes and stuff. He was going to sell it, put it up for sale for like 2 months, took it off the market. Then he was gonna rent it, never rented it. And he lives in California.
Oh,
So it's never been.
Oh, you mentioned that one to me.
And it happens to be right next door to the other one. So I reached out this morning, I know his ex-girlfriend. Reached out, said, hey, what did you doing with that house? Would he, just kind of feel him out and see. Who's coming up, hey, there's one.
Good, you don't have to negotiate against Hunter.
Oh, no, I don't.
Matt,
Hi.
hi,
So Matt.
everyone's running late, so you're right on time.
Can I sit back here?
Yeah, I'm okay with that. Alright. Should we just start with everyone? Cover all the important stuff first. Yeah, I printed out way too many pages for my game here today. All right. Tell me something good that happened this week, you two.
I've been trying to get one of my rental properties rented out, it's been a problem. It's because it's a one bedroom, it doesn't fit anything but a full or a twin. It's a duplex.
Oh, okay.
and
I was gonna
it's
say,
the
how do you have something that small?
It's the opposite side of the unit, or the duplex, and I put it on Zillow, and I decided to pay for the premium listing, I ended up getting like 8 shops earlier today.
Nice, nice.
It's not, I didn't drop the price either, so I'm happy about it.
Where's it located?
Kind of like the west side of Grove, southwest side of Grove.
Yeah.
About like, the gas stations over there.
Yep.
Nice. Well, that's good. Do you live in the other side?
No,
You just,
I live in Salt Lake now. I was living in it for a little bit when I was working in Pleasant Grove, like, I guess 8 to 5-ish. But now I'm kind of up in Salt Lake with the family, so.
cool. Well, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Hey, what else? That's good happened this week. Hunter, anything good for you? You have a couple of listings, don't you?
Yeah, I've got
One.
we got stuff going on. So, yeah, I'm just trying to move. I've got a few buyers that are just trying to get pushed through kind of pre-approval and get them excited to shop. So,
Good.
yeah, I got some business.
Button doesn't work. All right, new under contracts, closings, listings. We'll skip right past this. I have tried to announce Brittany almost every single day. And for some reason, every time I'm talking about it, there's like no one here. So you guys are the second and third people who are gonna hear this from me. So Brittany Frank, we are bringing her on to be our transaction coach. Oh, good, Sarah's here to hear this too. So Brittany is taking over basically everything Jeanette did for us. Jeanette is focusing more on existing agents now, and Brittany is going to be our everything. So she will do the transaction coordination, the listing management, all of that. She'll help write offers, look through case studies. She's going to teach a couple of those foundation classes on writing offers and what documents you need. So really easy email is tc@kwwestfield.com, and then she's got an Idaho phone number. So I don't know, maybe she's from Idaho, probably. She is awesome. She has been an admin here for years and years. If you know Bart Anthony in our office, she works for him. And then he just is kind of slow. He's just not growing and building like he wanted to a couple of years ago. So she's like, well, let me go do other things. And we snatched her up. So she is awesome. She knows a whole ton. She's very helpful and nice. So if you ever have anything, let her know. And if you feel like she's not giving you good answers, come talk to me. And then I'll ask her what the real answer is, because I feel like she knows more than me. You guys have all been here.
So can
Yeah.
she be able to answer maybe some of the questions I have about what we were talking about earlier?
Maybe, yours is actually a really weird one. If it's just that one guy that would buy it. If he's going, if the seller wants to sell it to anyone, then yes. She'd be able to answer a lot of those, because it's like the exclusive right to sell. If it's just like,
It did sell.
he will sell just to that one person, then that's what.
So she wouldn't have known the difference between the exclusive right to sell and the single party.
I didn't even realize we had a single party agreement. Cause that's what I was worried when you were gonna get an exclusive right to sell. I thought in my mind, like, this seems like you're gonna list it, but if you're not listing it, it seems like a weird document. But if you have that, then you can sell it, so it solves it, but like, there's gotta be a better way, and that is the better way. But I didn't even know about 11 years in. Look at me learning. So, yeah. Yeah, but if you're just like, I'll sell it to anyone and he wants to sell it, then exclusive right to sell would be an easy way, so. All right, Tuesday, we have an awesome training coming up. I don't know if we want to call it a training. It is, Amy Kendall is going to be interviewed by Shoni. If you don't know Amy, she is freaking awesome. She has a property management business, the only one here in Keller Williams that we've allowed, because she is so great at what she does. Then on the flip side, she crushes it in real estate. So she almost has like 2 big businesses that she is running. So she is one that you'll definitely want to hear from and get to know. Like, she is next level, has a whole bunch of rentals herself. So on Tuesday at 11. Then coming up, we have everything agents need to know about lending. So October 4th, if you need a couple hours of CE, here's a Zoom link for that. When is that? Oh, that's tomorrow. Tomorrow at 10 to noon. Everything to know about lending.
So is that instead of Ignite?
Nope, we're still going to do Ignite. So if you're not going to Ignite, this would be a great one to jump on. Dean's doing his broker office hours. So when you have difficult questions like, hey, I have someone that wants to sell just to one specific person, but maybe they're not going to buy it. Maybe it won't work out. What does that look like? These are great questions. Come Tuesday. You can even come in, just chat with Dean. He's very knowledgeable, been selling real estate for like 100 years or something. He has been here the whole time I've been here, and he's been broker then. So he's at least like 3 or 5 years more than me, because he became broker before I was here.
He's 20 years, I think.
20 full years. Yeah, something crazy. All right, let's see. What do we have tomorrow? Capture leads with open houses. If you are running open houses or think you should, this one will be awesome. And then Monday, we got social media, and then just capture more leads. And then keep every lead. So we got a lot of lead generation coming up. If you feel like you're not working with enough people, even if you've gone to these Ignite classes, these would be good to get you capturing more leads. First time home buying seminar is coming up in exactly 1 week. How are invites going? Great. Bad. Everywhere between.
I'm gonna post today. Pull up the, or I've already told my.
Yes.
About it.
So, game plan. This is crunch time, because 1 week people that build plans will want to know about plans. People that don't build plans will need to be reminded that you've invited them. People that have ghosted you because you sent them a mass text, you should respond to them and say, hey, you never responded to me. This was real and this was to you. I thought of you and sent it to you. So this week, call and text everyone, even if you've already talked to them. Let them know we have a few more spots.
Make it seem really.
Yeah. Ooh, we just had a couple of people bail, and so we have a few extra spots left. Who do you know? And then post it on social media, right? I would say have them like DM you or something if they are interested. That way you have a connection that way. Have people share it out to their friends, whatever you want to do. But so again, that's October 10th, 5:30, we're starting. We're gonna probably have food before that if they want to come before to get the food already. 5:30 to 6:30, we'll go through that. And it's sponsored by Aries Mortgage. Jake at Aries. Questions on this? Okay. So coming up today in our foundation training, we are going to, this is at 1 o'clock. We're going to practice writing offers. If you need help writing an offer, if you've never done it, or if you want more practice, we are going to go through and create an offer all together in DocuSign, so you know exactly how to do that, and then launch you on your case studies of writing offers. Next week, we are not going to do this team meeting. Use that time to invite people to the first time homebuyer seminar. Send out reminders, send out like a last minute story, something like that. Use it for prospecting. Then at 1 o'clock next week, we'll do CMAs and pricing homes. And then in 2 weeks, we are going to bring in Kylie Rowley and figure out how she became so awesome is the goal. Because she got started in February and has closed 5 or 6 transactions already since February of starting. So she went from nothing to very quickly closing things and has a whole bunch of buyers and listings right now that she's working with. So don't miss out on that. Okay, script challenge for you. When you're talking to a buyer and they say, I don't want to use an agent because fill in the blank. I don't want to pay concessions. I want to save money. I don't see the value. So partner up and one person give the objection. I don't want to use an agent because, and then the other person commits it. This is before you've met with them. Like maybe you got a lead or something and you're talking. Hunter, you have to have a friend.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up? Good.
Okay. Talking to a buyer, they say, I don't want to use an agent to buy because concessions save money. Okay. Yeah, so. About that. You know, since what's got in the market.
Yeah, I'm just looking about my first house. I think me and my wife can find one of those. You know, use like something like that.
I think it's yeah. Listen, I'm all for it. And the those op that you might have over your head. What I will do is I work just about higher that first property. And I'll tell you that almost every single time they would do a strategy, they recognize certain life and they say, I would never do that meeting work. Especially the first time they're just looking for. You know, some awesome that you're gonna be shopping. You're gonna be online. I will also be doing that as well. Seeing the ones that come be first. They're coming on real estate church conference and the last thing, right? Making out of that really good. Line it to everything. And then also not just finding who's putting on their contract, then letters, title company, negotiating repairs. Really put this like in this spot. What I have found, you probably appreciate that. I would get paid until you close the right? Even though not only one, because friends trying to transact, but also because I'm getting to close the table, that I'm gonna have a special. What do you say is we get to work?
How long have you been doing this?
Makes sense. You're at a disadvantage. All right, how'd it go? Who said good things?
That's just good things.
How do you overcome this? Wait, first of all, is this a real objection or a smoke screen?
I think it's just smoke screen.
Smoke screen.
Why
Is this objection?
Why the smoke screen?
Because at the end of the day, like, they don't really know exactly how they're gonna market the home or how they're going to negotiate the contracts, so. To some extent.
I feel like a lot of it is they either don't know what they don't know, so they think it's so easy, so they're just saying that, oh, I can do it, it doesn't really matter, more of a smokescreen. Or they really know everything and they're being dumb, because if you know everything, you know the value that we add. So,
Even the lawyer doesn't represent himself.
yeah, most attorneys don't want to represent themselves, remember that.
So,
He's got an attorney family that is representing themselves right now. Yeah, you can do the contract, you can do the negotiation, you're probably really good at things, but I can do everything real estate. Yeah, are you a real estate attorney? Do you have all the connections? So what's the underlying objection or smokescreen that they're throwing out there?
They can do it themselves.
What does that mean?
It's possible for them not to save money, yeah.
They don't see the value in a real estate agent. So how do you respond to this? Someone says, I don't want to use you because it costs too much, or I can do it all myself. What was said that you think was great?
She said that if you don't know the true value of the home, it could be an issue. Basically, you'd be missing out on
Yes.
whatever it might.
What's that home actually worth? That is valuable to know as a buyer. What else?
You know, he's smart, but he just stated that he deals with contracts every day, like countless contracts. And so he knows what to look for if there's something hidden or something wrong, whereas like me right now, I wouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah.
So,
Contract.
yeah.
What else?
I was asking him about marketing, you know, how are you gonna market your property and put it out to the masses in your time? And
Yep.
for me, I actually had this experience, so, I just closed on that for sale by owner a couple days ago. And I
Yep.
asked the same question, and they didn't know, and they got to the end, and they didn't know how to move forward from their for sale by owner.
Yes. How do you show value?
Yeah. Yeah.
We do a lot of valuable things, right? Price homes, we know the contract, we solve problems, like, I'm having inspection issues right now on my under contract, and those are the things that people don't think about. How do you quickly convey all of that, what you do to show value? Oh, I'm worth the money.
You want to be.
Yeah, is there something that you could say to help them?
I got you.
I got you.
I think the listing presentation, I just took down our valuable team, like there's pictures of you, there's a picture of Shomi and Novely and all the people in my, do I need to get permission for that?
No,
But
I give you my
to show
permission
them
right now.
we have a pretty valuable team and system in place to help them.
Yeah, it's hard to do this because we do offer so much. I came up with this because Dawson, he was trying to call FSBOs and he found them on Zillow and would dial the phone number. Do you know what Zillow does when you dial a FSBO's phone number? They save your phone number and sell it to a real estate agent. And so he dialed 3 yesterday. He got 3 different calls from someone, a real estate agent, all calling him. And rather than him saying, I'm also a real estate agent, he said, oh no, I'm not looking to use a real estate agent. So he could hear all of the things that they would say. And it was a lot of what you guys are saying, like, there is a lot that goes into a transaction of closing that is not finding the home. Right? There is the showing the home. How are you going to get in? Like, you have to deal with every single real estate agent to try to get into every home we want to see. Like, that's a big challenge. Plus, as you go down it, there's some things that are road bumps. There's some things that are cliffs. Real estate agents, we know the difference. If this is just a little bump and we should just move past it, or if this is a cliff and we need to bail out of the car and find a new home. Right? Very simple. They just don't know. We do this every day. We talk about it every day. Even if you haven't closed a transaction, you are in training, you are around people, you have a support system around you. So you will add way more value than you are worth. Remember that. Any other thoughts? Okay, let's get into our game. Stay in your partnerships here. Unless you hate your partner and then you can admit it and switch with someone else. Okay, here's how it's gonna go. Oh, let me even. I found this listing. This is gonna be the listing that we're gonna work off of. So one of you is gonna be the seller's agent, the other is gonna be the buyer's agent. I have little information about your seller and about your buyer. And this is our listing that we are going to look at. So it's this random Eagle Mountain listing that I found because it seems pretty average and it met some criteria I was hoping for. They listed the property at 625. It is currently listed at 600. So they have come down $25,000. When did they do this? I feel like it's like a week ago or something. On the 22nd. So what are we, 10-ish days, a week and a half ago, they lowered the price by $25,000. Let's just assume that it's priced pretty well now that we're at 600. Like the comps are all there, kind of an idea. We are not worried that we'll have a problem with the appraisal. You want to look at it? It's kind of nice. Nope. It's a nice open floor plan. White kitchen, hardwood floors, little backyard. Just a good little Eagle Mountain home. I don't know. You were looking way more into this than I did. Right by the ranches. There you go. Stage nice. Yeah, so it's this nice place. So who wants to represent the seller in your group? Okay, so here's how it works.
Oh, I think you're right.
Okay. No, you don't need to- am I the listing agent?
Yep.
Okay.
So we're gonna start, it's a regional background, do not show your, oh no, that's both for you, Sarah.
Oh,
Do not show your friend. Your co-op agent here, don't show them what they're working with. And so, buyer's agent. After you guys read through everything that you have here, you are going to pretend call the listing agent because your clients want to make an offer. Your clients are first-time home buyers. Oh no, you have the script. They don't know anything and they trust you completely is kind of the underlying message with some of this. So whatever you say, they're going to do, and they will give you zero input. Same with the sellers. They trust you completely. Whatever you say, they'll do.
so no, let me talk to my seller and
Yeah.
come back to you.
Yeah, if you need to use that as a script, you can, but then whatever, I will be both the buyer and the seller, and I'm just gonna say, whatever you think is best, I trust you completely. What would you do if this was your house? Kind of a thing. So, buyer's agent, you need to call the listing agent and gather information as you're gonna make your offer. Then, the second page is your offer. We're just gonna do some of the high-level terms here for your offer for you to put together. Then I want you to hand it to the listing agent and make another call to them that you are presenting the offer to them. Sellers, you go through it, discuss with your sellers, and then you are gonna either accept or send them a counter offer. In the counter offer, it looks the exact same as the offer. Whatever you are changing write down those things. If you're okay with it, don't even write it down. Questions? Okay. Don't copy other groups. Don't eavesdrop. I want to see how it goes differently for each different person. This is all about negotiations. Trying to get the best for your client. You are the fiduciary. So, buyer's agents, make the phone call. Gather your info. I'm gonna go find some pens.
Why do I have to counter off?
In case you need.
Gotcha.
Okay, so tell me about the house.
Yeah, it's a great house on the market, however long. We just had a price reduction, so we're anticipating some good traction on. We're had a couple of showings.
Good. And have you guys had inspections yet?
No, no inspections.
Right, so for your buyers.
Yeah, this is fire. So I see you guys are listening that. Just wondering.
So is he already offering or what's, I'm confused on what's.
So like, pretend like you just ended a showing and your client said, I love it, let's make an offer. So your first step is you should always call the buyer or the listing agent to get as much information as you can.
So, what?
So I would probably say stuff like.
Yep, some of the common questions are like, yep, do you have an offer? Like, what are your sellers looking for in something like this? So you like wanna show interest, but at the same time, you don't wanna play all your cards.
Okay,
Yeah.
so have you had any offers yet?
Nothing in hand, yeah, we're gonna come up with that they be sending them, so we're in this stage.
You can show that.
Yeah, if I can show it, yeah. that's one.
Sometimes that's all I ask.
That's all, and that's all he needs, and now he's gonna write an offer up or what?
Yep, so now you're gonna write on that next page your offer, what you think.
Hold the house again, maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So you're gonna offer, you're writing an offer. we wrote that.
so it's listed at 600,000. Use your information with your little, with your,
That's good to know. I do have. That's interested.
They are motivated, vision finance.
you want a real phone call.
No, it's not the,
Just so you know, that would be the current offer. Ready to put in an offer.
So we're 600,000 is on the market, almost 2 months. They lower the price 10 days ago. When they like showing the no buyers. So I'm thinking like kind of gut feeling, we could probably go up that price.
Yeah.
Because they don't have it, they've been 10 days without an offer. So we can definitely go that 600.
So wait, Cameron, we're having an initial.
Yeah, so you're gonna gather some information. You guys do that? Do you do that, Hunter?
I do that.
Okay, good. We can always call the agent to ask them questions. Wait, let's pause for a second.
You're saying
all right, sorry.
that based on our first conversation, Bill's gonna write the offer.
Buyers are gonna write the offer. Who's the buyer? Bill. Yeah. Okay, so what questions did you guys ask in this initial phone call? And what helped you?
I asked.
Buyers.
If her, sellers were motivated.
Sellers are motivated. What did that get you?
Yes, movie. And he got a promotion, and so he wants to move closer to where his promotion.
So they're motivated, they're ready to go. Good. What are other good questions to ask during this first phone call?
Timelines,
Like, do they have a specific, like, we're just writing on for a song text support or that?
Yep.
Are there any timelines we should know about, like if they're buying new phones,
Love that.
Offers.
other offers?
Other offers, very important. That's the question I always.
Yeah.
Yep. Sellers, what do you say when they ask if you've had interest?
Yeah, we have.
This is my busiest property that I have listed. I only have the one listing, but I am taking phone calls on it like crazy. You're gonna sell this.
Don't want to divulge too much, right?
Yes.
You have the confidentiality that like,
Which is why I'm having you both practice this, because I think that is important. What sellers, let's see, so they ask you, what's their motivation? Is it fine to say, like, that they got a promotion, that they're moving? Is that okay?
I know, I've listened, but I said that.
I would probably just leave it at, yeah, we're motivated. Obviously, we want to sell the house.
I mean, the home's on the market.
Yeah, market.
Sometimes listing agents give the funniest answers like that, like, of course, we're on the market. And that's fine. I also don't think it's bad if you try to like be friendly with them and be like, oh, I'm so excited for this. Yeah, he got a promotion, so they're excited to move. Like, that doesn't really divulge too much. Like, give them some personal information, but does that help you negotiate better as a buyer? It's like, did it give you something?
Doesn't
No, it
tell you
doesn't.
that he has to move or
Yeah.
he needs to move. It's just.
That they want to. Yep,
Doesn't even say how far he's gotta commute, could be a promotion in this area.
Yep.
You don't know, he just wants to upgrade his house.
Yeah.
yeah,
I'd be careful too. When you have another house under contract with a seller, be careful that you're not. Like, you don't want them to know that you have earnest money non-refundable or you have deposits non-refundable, because that's a super big bargaining chip for a buyer. They can strong arm you into stuff. Yeah.
So like, if you don't know. Like
If you're
if-
under contract with another.
if
property.
my sellers were under contract to buy a home, then that's a huge bargain chip for you, because then you know, like, well, they have to get out. Like,
Yep.
It's like, if you don't accept our price reduction or you don't accept our concessions, we'll cancel. And we already know that will really hurt your seller, probably even more than the concession that they would provide us. And they might as well just go to the concession. I've
and
done that on the buyer side before.
sometimes that makes timeline more important than the ultimate price.
Yeah,
Because if they're like, we have to move by October 31st. You're like, well, I have qualified buyers, I could make that happen, but they're gonna pay less. Okay, so buyers, write your offers.
I would say a lot of that too depends on the market, right?
Yep.
Obviously, all of that.
Yep. Okay, so we're listed at 600, been on the market for 54 days. Price reduction about 10-ish days ago. So write down, based off of this. By the way, this is almost everything you need to fill out in an offer. When you're actually writing an offer, it's just not as clean and easy as this. So write down your offer here.
But this is hard, then what if they lowball us?
I got more papers for you guys to keep counter offering each other.
Well, no, there's just not enough information, right? Like, well.
I almost made like 4 of these so we could keep playing like over and over. I was gonna have Kevin help. So you guys know Kevin? Kevin, he always tries to get me to play D&D. And I have with him, and it is so much fun. If you haven't played D&D, we're gonna have to have a D&D day where we play. So much fun. I don't know why it's not the most popular game ever. Anyway, he's like, wait, basically we're gonna do a role-playing game. Yes, I'm 100% in for this. So he was gonna do it, but he had a class, so he couldn't go, so I gotta have the fun. So, okay, whenever you have your offer, you need to present it to your seller. So, a few things when you're presenting it. In real life, you should email this. You should, in your email, talk up your buyers. And you should call that listing agent and let them know I have an offer. A lot of the times when I will make an offer, I will email the same thing that I will say. So for example, my cousin just went under contract. I found out because I walked through the house, it was an old lady house. Like she had storage of little figurines for each of the different holidays. I'm like, this looks like an old lady thing. Pictures of the grandkids, like that kind of a thing. So when I talked about my buyers, I said, oh, they're this cute little married couple with a dog that wants to start their family in your home. I was pulling at her heartstrings. Now, I told the agent this, does the agent have to tell their client? They probably shouldn't. Because then if they get an offer from like a single dude or someone like that, that is not a family, she picks the family over the single dude, then technically he could say, well, I had a better offer. I didn't get it because I'm not a family, and sue her. So you shouldn't divulge that kind of information as a seller. Okay. Present your offer to the listing agent. So buyers, present what you have.
Perfect. 575. We'll put 15,000 out of this. And we want you to pay, commission for the buyer's agent. 17,250.
So that is,
Would you put in seven?
so, I first off appreciate it.
Oh, for dates, if you've never done dates, usually it's like 7 days for seller disclosure, 14 days for due diligence, 21 days for financing, 28 for settlement. That's pretty normal. 7, 14, 21, so just 1 week is like the default, this is what we're doing. Seller disclosures, I like to get them faster than 7 days, so sometimes I'll say 3 to 5 days. Due diligence, 14 is a very clean, good offer. If I want a little bit more for my buyers, I will push that further out. That gives us more time to cancel for any reason. Financing, again, as a buyer, I want that longer. As a seller, I want that shorter, because that's when the earnest money is 100% hard. There's no way to get it back for a buyer. And that's the seller default, but the buyer defaulting after financing means the seller gets all of it. Then closing deadlines, I like to do it so it funds and records before a weekend. So I typically don't set Friday as the signing date. Yeah, if the settlement date is Friday, that means that you are probably funding and recording, the house becomes the buyer's on Monday, so they don't get the weekend to move.
They will be bugged.
And they will be like, oh, cool, we've scheduled a moving truck for Saturday, and they'll say, oh, sorry.
Wednesday or Thursday.
Yeah. I didn't put possession date in here, did I? That's probably an important thing. Yep. Oh, in our example, response deadline. Right now, it's Thursday at 10. When do you want them to respond? Friday by midnight is what Bill says?
7 p.m.
Tomorrow by
Tomorrow
5.
Tomorrow by 5, tomorrow by 3. I'm on your page.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna work Friday at 5 o'clock. I'm already gone for the weekend.
5 on Friday, and I was like, oh, I knew your son's soccer game. Jeanette's like, sorry. I'm like,
Yeah.
"Ah."
Okay, okay, present why your offer is great. To the seller's agent.
So I appreciate the offer. You're coming in 7% lower between possession and price than we currently are on the market. I'll definitely present it to my client, and I think that he's gonna want to price adjust by 2, 3, 4% before he accepts a 7% or not.
Did you guys just hear Hunter? I hope you're eating that behind it.
Yeah.
Is that what
farmer.
So what did he do? So the offer gets presented, and what's the first thing that he does? He says, it's not good enough. You're not good enough.
No, I said, I appreciate the offer. I'll
But
present
thank
it
you.
to my client.
Thanks, I'm gonna present it.
I always just wanna be able to, I wanna be in the position where we're on the offensive, right? So I'm always super nice to every agent I speak
Yes.
to, but in this situation, there's set between the price that he offered us and the concession, that's a 7% reduction on my seller's price, right? my seller would probably have a better shot of reducing by 2-3% and then going back to market than he would just taking a 7% reduction right off the bat, typically, right? Like the 7% reduction is a lot. Hey, I appreciate the offer, but I'm just telling you right now, I think my client would actually be better off just lowering the price by 1% or 2% and going to the market and accepting a 7% haircut right off the top, right?
The only time that I've ever successfully raised an appraisal was on my own personal house. I was doing a refinance. And the appraisal came in lower than what I bought it for 2 years later. This was 7 years ago. Home prices were 5 to 7% up every single year since I bought it. My value went down. And I said, appraiser, if I put that on the market for the amount that you just put, would you buy this house? And he's like, oh yeah, that'd be a great deal. I said, then you priced it too low. And I sent him comps that he did not use that were like one street over, same floor plan, listed 20 grand higher, and he raised the price. Only time that an appraiser has ever changed their value with me, but that's kind of what I use. If I were to put it on the market at this, don't you think I'd get offers better than yours? Okay, keep going.
And that's where you can go out your agent and say, yeah, I totally understand that, right? This is what my client, they really want to. They have other ones that they're putting offers in on, but they want to. This is, you know, and certainly it's probably too soon in the negotiation to say this is the best they can do. But you could say like, man, they might be able to come up just a little bit, but I think, you know, not much, right? So that's what I would say. Girl, counter offer you.
I'll send you an email.
Before you make a counter offer, I'm gonna add one more step to the stage. Oh, okay,
You're going too fast.
sorry. Hunter's moving along too quickly. I'm basing it off of
Then I have
him.
to stop and I listen to you. I'm far behind.
Okay.
Um,
You were talking, Ernest?
The stand, what's that?
You must be, yeah, no, that's good.
What's the percentage?
It's like 1%, is that right? Yes.
I was looked up 1 to 3.
Yeah, 1%.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah, 1 to 3, huh? Yeah. That's, you're great there. Wait, Cameron, you.
Yes.
I'm just wondering about this part.
Down payments.
So if I
Oh.
close this quickly. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They are-
Sorry, Sellers, I didn't give you a date with your move out. What is ideal for you?
Okay.
Okay.
And,
Yeah, I think it's conventional.
Oh, yeah, 20%, that's the number.
closing
You
costs.
just
Okay,
remember.
that.
7.
Oh, by the way, I was vague for a reason on all of these. I want you to figure out how to come up with stuff. How would you come up with, if someone asks for closing costs, the buyer's like, I need closing costs covered, or the lender says that. How do you figure out what to ask for closing costs? You could say, lender, how much will we need for closing costs? And then
You call, that's separate, you call the lender.
you call the lender and say, how much would I need for closing costs? Sure, let's call it $10,000.
Yes.
Okay, sellers, as you're getting this, I want you to do one step before you do a counter offer. I want you to do a net sheet. And you know what, let's actually run this all together. No, you all have different offers, we can't run it. I gave you your sample net sheet. Fill out those same type of numbers to figure out what would your sellers net. You should do, oh, it's just on the seller side. You can show your buyer agent. You wouldn't really in real life, but just so they learn as well. In real life, you would never share any of this information with the buyer's agent. Most likely. But you would always do one of these for your sellers, because you want to know what they will net at closing. Because that's the most important.
I the title company do a net sheet, because then they can put in there.
Yes, the title company actually has an app that will let you do that as well. You can either call the title company and say, this is our offer, will you run me a net sheet? You can say, how much would the title insurance be? And all of the fees, so you know what that would cost. So then you can decide, are they making enough money? So a net sheet is basically, you're taking the price, you minus out all of the commissions, the concessions, anything that your sellers are paying for. They also will have title fees that they pay for. So how much do they net to the bottom line? Then you can go the next step. I always do it in 2 stages like this. This is the offer, this is how much you would net, is what I say. And so like, in the example, if they were 625 and they had 33-ish grand of commission, 10,000 in closing costs, 2,500, you would end up netting 575. Now they also have a mortgage, so I start with that number, then I add the mortgage number in and say what they would net after the mortgage. The reason that I do this is because people always get what their mortgage is, what they actually owe, wrong. So if you say you will net this much, and then you minus their mortgage and give them the number, you might be exactly right on your net, but you're wrong on what they would net after the mortgage, because they gave you the wrong mortgage number. Does that make sense? So I always give them
So
both.
why don't you go that far, why not just give them the net and let them figure that out?
Sometimes I will, but it's kind of nice to just be like, oh, this minus whatever your mortgage is. And a lot of the times I'll be like, oh, I owe 380, that's great, then I can just write 380, but I guarantee you it's not 380. My mortgage has never been a clean number, except for the day that I got it. And then it's always messed up after that, so then you can kind of get a good idea.
If you show them the net sheet, then they'll have more bargaining.
Okay, don't show them then, but now they know how to do it. Okay, who's accepting their offer as is?
We're countering.
If you're gonna counter, change anything that you're gonna counter. Keep it, or skip the line if you're not changing it at all.
Wait, so, this is great out there now. Any figures?
Okay.
So it is, yeah.
They offer, I know that they're gonna be, I mean, you know, we've got price. They're not really.
Not too bad.
That's what we did.
Serious question. When we were selling our house in Lowell,
Yeah,
okay, are the buyers kept coming in and they kept lowering the price, they give us reasons like, we want to replace the carpet, lower it by 10 grand. We want to do this, lower it by 10 grand. Is that real? Do people actually do that on a regular basis?
sort of. I hate it, so, when I make the initial offer, I like to give a reason.
Yeah.
Why, you know, like, let's justify this, because like, I have something like, maybe that's real, like, maybe this is home capital, so we could actually 5 cents. And the reason is like, the more it's bad, and it's all these other costs, and you have all these reasons, if you can highlight that right up. Then you know, like, the scheme or offer accepting, because then it's kind of like, the sellers might be like, wait, we're kind of questions. Well, they send in these calls and they then a little bit more than we need.
So,
Then you have the option to negotiate.
Oh, yeah.
Which actually, I learned. I don't like to ever concede on anything that's not new. So like, let's say you go to the inspection and then you're like, hey, this carpet's actually trash. My answer would be like, when you made the offer, you saw carpet.
Yeah.
Like, so no, with that, because you already knew it. But then you did the furnace and realized that it doesn't work, so yeah, we'll fix the furnace.
Yeah.
So, I'm not a big fan of like itemizing. So, Well, I did all these credits,
Yeah,
But
giving you money to do it,
yeah,
I wish.
but if, as a buyer, it's definitely like a thing.
to point something
Yeah.
out for why.
So there's two ways to do this counter offer in the broad strokes of things. One, like in real life, one is you literally do a counter offer, which is an addendum. You don't accept the offer, you're countering it with an addendum. And you send that over. I do that almost every single time. The alternative is you call that buyer's agent and you say, let's work this out right now so that we do one counter offer and we go under contract.
Is that, you think it's bad?
Nope,
That's why I do, because.
I don't think either are bad.
I had one deal where the agent would talk to me. And it was literally, we had 10 counter offers, but
Yes.
it was like. Hey.
That
Here we are,
drives
on
me
agenda
nuts to have that.
11, and like, but he wouldn't answer his phone, so I was like, oh, I was like,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it is really nice that you can go back and forth. The one thing that I think is strange is when a seller agent, like even this one, the one I'm under contract, he called me. And said, hey, I wanna go back and forth over the phone to figure out this before we go under contract. So the numbers that he gave me over the phone, I already knew he was ready to go back and forth. So we said, we didn't say yes to all of them, we switched a couple of them just a little bit. So we ended up with a little bit more closing costs at the price, the addendums, everything. So if he would have sent us an addendum, we probably would have accepted it right away. But because he's like, hey, let's just go back and forth over the phone, I'm like, all right, you're coming back, I'm going forth. And so I knew he was ready to negotiate a little bit more. So there's pros and cons, but you never know. Okay, with the counter offer, buyers, oh yeah, question,
I have one question, so you said with the counter offer, you just counter that with an addendum?
yep. So the buyers would send Rep C and an addendum if they're asking for closing costs or anything that's not in the Rep C. The sellers would then sign everything, so they initial every page, sign on the bottom, but if there's a box rather than checking accepted, they check counter offer addendum number 2.
A lot of people miss that. Did you hear that? When you're countering, you sign, your seller still initials every single page of the rep sheet because they're acknowledging they received it. But at the very bottom, you check counter offer, and then you say addendum, you're countering with addendum 1 or addendum 2, whatever the addendum is, right? And then in that addendum, right, you write all of your terms, and typically most agents will say all other terms to remain the same, just so it's clear.
Yeah,
right?
by default, that's how
By
it works.
default, that
If you
is.
don't mention it in your counter offer, you are accepting it.
You're accepting every other term except for the ones in your addendum. So make sure that your client is on board with every single thing in that rep sheet.
Yeah. Okay, do you have the counter back to the sellers?
I have a 1030.
Okay,
Have fun.
okay, I guess it's back to the buyers. Buyers, do you accept? Are you okay with these terms? Do you need to go back?
They'll take them, get rid of it.
Okay,
Yes.
Hunter, let's pretend like you accept it too. Okay, let's hear it. What's the purchase prices? Are you gonna accept it, Bill? Not yet. Oh, you think there's still room for negotiation, all right? Okay, Doug.
I spoke to my clients.
Oh, okay, keep going. You gotta be louder though, because everyone's listening.
No. that's- So what we'd like to do is. But in addition to that,
Whoa.
it's an imaginary house, it's perfect.
Sorry, what were you? 595. How much in?
$600.
How much commission did you get? 3%?
Yeah, 8%.
That's the first offer. They give them
Okay.
Deal.
They count it 0.5%.
We have a great one.
Yes.
2.5, because they came in like.
Okay.
That's reasonable. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's.
We counted.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Matt and Sarah, what did you guys agree on? What's your price?
600,000, he came in at a full price offer and we accepted it.
Nice. How much concessions?
2,500.
So you're removing your due diligence.
You get 3% commission too?
Plus the.
Your finance.
Yep.
Like it?
And then, the only thing we countered with were deadlines, we just wanted to.
Make it faster.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, but-
How'd you guys do? What'd you end up, Bill, Jordana?
Then we negotiate.
What's your purchase price?
600. Paying 5,000 in closing costs, a 3% commission. But he waived the appraisal, not the appraisal, that's special. He waived his due
Ooh.
diligence.
Ooh, that's
And,
big.
Which Cameron I told her, I was never due.
and I negotiated, so my sellers have 24 hours after possession. Or 24-hour possession after.
Yes. Okay, who won? You all did.
I did.
Everybody won. Are your clients happy?
What is the 13,750?
Closing costs.
So
So Hunter did way worse. If we were looking at net to the seller,
He also left, didn't he?
yeah.
before that, so he.
But he countered that. We accepted his counter,
Oh,
maybe
Hunter,
he-
terrible,
yeah. But maybe the sellers are happy.
because now they net with less, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
I was gonna say, we didn't have a contingency upon the sale of our home, so does that make?
Oh,
like,
no.
We don't have a contingency upon the sale of their, in order,
Oh, no,
okay.
you're fine, yeah. So. You'll see it, we were very different. You two are pretty close. The difference is the closing costs and then Bill waived the due diligence deadline that he would never do in real life. Spoken like an inspector. What did you guys take away from this? What did you learn? Some ahas, some questions, what do you have?
What, from your perspective, and when you're
Yes.
negotiating, what are the first things that you look at negotiating?
Wait, I have a question
The
about,
first things in mind.
But also,
Trey, what did you start your offer at?
575,
How much closing costs?
17,250, so basically all the seller's commission. Or buyer commission.
And 3% commission, I'm assuming,
Yeah,
right? Let's see, what did you guys start the offer at? Was it this, but deadlines? What did you guys start your offer at?
600,
wait, what did you say, deadlines?
Yeah, that's the only thing they changed,
in our county.
yeah.
what else, the closing costs,
Closing costs,
We're 10,000.
10, we just said 10,000.
okay. Very interesting. I don't know how this would play out if this was all real life. It would be fun if we could do this in real life.
Is there is a winner, right? Like.
Let me tell you a story about winners and losers.
Both agents are to have their client win,
Yes.
right? But I guess you can both. win.
So, Clay Winder had this listing. It was not too different from this one. It was an Eagle Mountain home listed in like $600,000, something like that. He had this conversation with the sellers on Friday that, hey, we are not getting a lot of traction. We are probably gonna have to lower the price. And they're like, you know what? We want to go big. Let's lower it $30,000. And he said, cool. Hey, by the way, we have one scheduled showing for the weekend. Let's roll through the weekend. Let's make this update actually on Tuesday and see what happens. The home was showed by a Homey agent. The only reason that is applicable is because at the time, Homey was gifting part of their commission to the buyers. I think they were listed at 530, this house. And so the buyers came in, loved the house, made a full price offer. Like the sellers didn't even counter the offer at all. They accepted it as is. The sellers were stoked because they got 30,000 more than they were expecting. They're about to lower the price. The buyers, we actually found out that they wrote a review for Homey on how awesome it was because Homey shared half their commission. So 530 times 1.5%, what are we? Like 8-ish grand? 530. Yeah, almost $8,000. They said, our agent helped find us a house and we got it. And we were able to get $8,000 that then we used to buy furniture in our house. We love the process. So everyone felt like they won and everyone's happy now. The buyers have no idea that they were just about to get a house for $30,000 cheaper, or could have. But they were happy. They weren't even upset. So there's no losers. So if people are happy going in and they are happy when they're closing, like it all went well and they feel like it's a good house, usually they are just happy. And there's no alternative universe that they know, I could have got this house for cheaper. You should have great relationships with people to know that, right? If you were like talking to someone and they're like, yeah, I'm kind of upset that we didn't get it for cheaper. It's like, well, why did you accept this? Like, you didn't have to. Kind of an idea. So winners and losers, it's really, did you get the house and do you love it? For the buyers, did you sell the house and did you get enough money out of it as the sellers? Because maybe they're stoked with this because your sellers are under a time crunch. But did the buyers know that? Not necessarily. Like Sarah changed some deadlines to make it happen. So, hey, what else do you learn? What other questions do you have?
I was just gonna say, I mean, it's not on our, offers or anything, but one thing I learned from experience is that contingency upon the sale of their home is really big in the acceptance of an offer.
Yes.
So if the buyer comes in and they say, all of this stuff is contingent upon the sale of our home, then to me, that one goes down to the bottom. And most people do have to sell a home to buy a new home because they need the proceeds of that to put into a new home. But I had this situation with multiple offers that came in where it was contingent upon the sale of their home and they just went to the bottom because my clients were like, no, we don't want that to control. It really does control the sell because if their home doesn't sell, that home goes back on the market and this whole process starts over. So we took into consideration when someone put in an offer, if this offer was contingent upon the sale of their home. And there were a lot of really great offers that they would have made more money, but they just didn't want to take the gamble of that person's home selling. And there were some of the offers, their home wasn't even on the market. They were just like gonna do it that week if they accepted, and then they were like, no. So
yeah, we're not even ready to list their home.
Yeah.
Versus our home is on the market versus our home is under contract versus I just have cash burning a hole in my pocket.
Yeah.
Like those are all very different conversations with the same numbers.
Well, and like the motivations are different too, right?
Yeah.
Like some sellers may be like, well, the money's more important than we'll wait,
Yep. So Trey and I were talking about, he started at 575. Is that a low ball offer? You think so, Bill? Bill says yes.
Why didn't anyone else negotiate the purchase price?
I did, my counter was 610.
Okay.
Oh, so you guys went back and forth. So you went 600 to 610.
Well, I said they want the net six, yeah, I said they want 600, so if you want us to put 10,000, it costs to be 600.
And then they went, so basically you went down 15, no, 5,000 from yours. 5, because you brought the price down 10, but the concessions up 5. Okay. If you were gonna offer something that you feel is a lowball offer, I think you need to be able to justify it somehow. The worst offer that you could make is when you make it, you're apologizing for your buyer.
Seriously, well, and I had all kinds of wrong clients, like, oh, it's just a low ball. It's like,
Yes.
okay, but how much do you like the house? Because you run the risk of offending, like I've had times where the sellers are offended by our offer, like they don't wanna look at it and say,
Yeah.
well, if you really wanted the house, now we can't even go back and say.
Who was I talking to? Just the other day, had the same exact thing happen. Callie, it was Callie on her fourplex. They got an offer. And she's like, my sellers are so offended, they're gonna reject it. I said, they shouldn't reject it. You have an offer, like counter them, even if your counter is a ridiculous counter, like counter them back at full price. Because then it's at least you have an offer out there, because as a buyer, what if the agent would have said, we have another offer? How does that change what you're gonna originally offer? Trey, would you offer the same if there was another offer?
No.
No. What if, would you guys, would have you offered more if there was another offer? From your starting? Bill? Matt? Would you offer more if you knew that there was another offer?
No,
Okay,
it says approved to a certain amount.
oh. Couldn't go lower, couldn't go higher. So. What if that offer was 575? And then you come in and say, oh, there's another offer, we need to come in all that we possibly can, let's come in at our max budget. Like, you don't know that it's a Trey offer that's 25 grand low. You don't know that, so you can use that as a listing agent, as leverage. But so if you're gonna offer low, I would suggest you have a reason. Because then you can point to that reason on why you're offering low. Hey, I pulled some comps, here they are. With these comps, I'm thinking it should actually sell for this. I walked through and the carpet needs to be replaced. I feel like the comps are good, but the carpet doesn't match it, so we're gonna need to replace all the carpet, we're gonna need to come down for that. Like all of these things here, just right off the bat, everything that that you see, that you know, then you have some things. A lot of the times the listings agents will take those things and they will justify it back to their sellers, right? And they'll say things like, oh, hey, they sent in this offer, and the sellers will be like, oh, well, it's so low. Wait, will they send in some comps to justify it? And so in their mind, they're already thinking, oh, wait, are we overpriced? As a
listing agent, why would you say that to your clients? Because you're essentially saying, we're gonna go with his comps instead of the ones I gave.
Yeah,
So
you need to be
I'm
very
confident
specific
it's
about
much
that.
better than here. She-
Because yeah, if Trey would have sent over comps and say, I think this is worth 575. If I were to say to the seller, hey, he sent over some comps and that's why he's going low. But I think that our comps are real and his are not. They might even have a little shade of doubt. So I wouldn't even mention the comps to my sellers at all. Unless it's the thing that makes them move, right? Like if the home is really worth 575 and they're thinking it's worth more than that, like them selling the house is better for them than not in this scenario.
So what I'm kind of logging in here is that
Yes.
what you're saying is you actually agreed with those comps. You went to them and said, I think this is what comps say your house would sell for 600. And they said, no, I want to go to 625.
Yep.
And you said, okay.
Yeah, and now we're at 600
And now we're at 600.
and we get an offer at,
Just like I told you.
Yep. And then if we get an offer lower and he has comps and then I look at my comps versus his comps, I'm like, ooh, you know what? We're gonna run into some issues. We're not gonna get another offer. We need to go with this to be able to close on your house. Like then we're kind of up against the wall. Maybe this is a great acceptance for us.
I have a question.
Yes.
So I didn't really know this until kind of recently, but what is the normal time of possession of a home? How
Um,
many hours?
so they'll put something in the MLS. Where did I put it? Right here.
72 hours.
This one says recording. When I am the seller, I want to put 48 to 72 hours. I want to give them a couple days to move. When I'm the buyer, I want to put 0 because I want to move in right away. Unless, like, even with the house that I'm under contract with, we gave her 1 day, 24 hours to move out. And we've had a bunch of random little issues throughout the inspection. And I'm using that as a bargaining chip. If she needs a day or two more so that she can do all of these fixes, we're okay with that. And so now I'm using, do everything that we want from the inspection, but we'll give you another day or two to move out, because that is one of her hot buttons that I've learned by talking to the agent throughout the process.
So if your clients moved out of their home, they moved out of state, you wouldn't even need to put any hours in it. You
Nope,
could say
Could be
0.
0.
Oh,
Or like this one says recording.
okay, upon recording.
Yeah.
So that's more for the sellers, they
Yep.
need 72 hours to move out.
Mhm.
Okay.
So like this one, that would be an awesome thing to include in like the other terms is what I put it in this, but there is a section like, when will they take possession? And so if you know they're in a house, they're closing on a house the same day, or maybe the next day, because sometimes it's like, we're gonna close on the 20th, and then the 21st, we're gonna close on our move. Well, then I'm gonna want 48 hours. So then that gives me a whole day of moving to get out.
Is
something
there,
like that.
is there, pros and cons to this? Like 72 hours seems like a long time.
Yeah,
Would you want that shorter, like 48?
as the buyer, yeah, I want it as short as possible, because I want to move in. Even if I'm not moving in, I want to be able to come in and clean or measure or have the keys. I don't want it to be in their name for any longer. I don't want anyone in my house anymore. But as the seller, I want as much time as I can, because then I can close, I have money in my pocket, and then I can move out.
Well, can that be risky? Because if you're doing on a walkthrough, let's say on your way to go to the closing, and you give them another 72 hours and everything was fine when you did the walkthrough, but now you're opening your door after the 72 hours and there's just things
Yep,
could be wrong with the house.
Yep.
Things that you-
and then you have to call the agent, be like, we did our walkthrough, it looked great, we went to go move in, and now there's scratches all along the walls from the couches moving out, there's a hole over here, there's this and this, that's all wrong. Fix it. And then it's this battle of trying to get it fixed after the closing, which is never easy. Get everything finished before closing if at all possible. Or withhold money for escrow. Like you can say like let's say that the sellers wanted 2 weeks to move out. You can do like a lease back type of thing. It could even be free. You could say $0 for the lease back, or pay us $1,000 to live there for 2 weeks, whatever you want to come up with. But then I would also suggest leave some money at the title company. That's almost like a security deposit. So if they cause some damage, then you have some money and you can say like, this, like title, release this to us so we can fix all these things that the sellers left. Something like that. So you can kind of prepare yourself for some things like that, but if it's not left what the contract says it should be left as, room clean, free of debris, and in the same condition, then you can go back to the sellers and say, fix it, and they should. But it's always a battle, and that battle may end up in small claims court.
What kind of documentation do you have?
Nothing.
Did you say it's in the same condition?
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of the times, there's usually pictures from the whole MLS. So you like go stand in the same place and take a picture and be like, look, in the MLS, no hole in the wall. Now, hole in the wall. So the sellers need to fix that.
What if it's behind furniture?
That's kind of on you as due diligence.
But like, you know,
I have this battle when I see rugs. Like, should I look under this rug? It's kind of a weird thing to do. But yeah, you never know what's going on. Inspectors, do you guys move couches or anything like that? I didn't think so. Most
Try to
don't.
make it as little as possible, but I was a little different. I
Yeah.
would do things that some people wouldn't do.
Yeah.
Because it's wrong.
Yep. Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with scooting a couch out a couple feet, looking behind it, and scoot the couch back. Double check all those things. Cause that's all due diligence.
That's
If
why-
you find a random rug in a random location, definitely look underneath it.
That's why I like doing commercial instead.
Yeah.
It's so much easier.
Okay, any other questions, thoughts? Or any big ahas?
So I had asked you earlier, when you're negotiating, what are some of the first things you kind of put on that negotiation block? But then I started thinking about it, I'm like, well, that would depend on the client.
Yes,
What's important to them? You know, is it price, is it the timeline, is it concessions, is it, you know, what is it? So I guess
and it has no rhyme or reason, like, we just, closed on some land down in Salem a little while ago. The seller is multi-millionaire, tons of cash, like, she doesn't drive anywhere, she has someone drive her places, kind of a thing. So she doesn't need more money. And, we had bought other lots from her and given her a lot of money, so we knew she even had money, cash. And when it came down to closing, we said, hey, we need to extend 2 weeks. And she says, well, that will cost you. And so, like, in our mind, it's like, well, yeah, we should pay something to extend or something. But then she's like, oh, by the way, we're not extending past 2 weeks. You close in 2 weeks no matter what, or you default on the land. And it's like, she was 100% ready to take that land back. Even though, like, it was in her best interest actually to keep extending, because we were paying like 10-12% interest to her on this land, so. How are you gonna make more money than that? You're gonna go put it in a bank account, you're gonna make like 5% max? Maybe she has some better investment, she's not gonna have better land that makes her money, it's farming. Making her 10% return. So, she was like anal about getting her money, which in my mind, I'm like, if I had that much money, I would more want interest. Time's kind of on my side with that. But she was the complete opposite, so you don't know until you really get into it and ask questions.
Well, it's such an emotional process, I think a lot of people forget how big of an emotional process it is for our clients, right? Like, they have different, you know, memories and feelings wrapped up in different properties that
Yep.
we don't see.
Okay. Keep practicing this. This is why you do little things like, learn the market. Because we just assumed that the house was fairly priced at 600. If you know the market well, you can say, we should offer lower than that. Or it's been on the market for 54 days, the average house is on the market for 48, so we're already past the average home. We should make an offer. You know, everyone's asking for concessions, we can ask for a little bit more. Maybe 4% instead of 3%, I don't know what you could convince someone of. The better you get at the market, the more you can do here, so. Go learn that. And then, what we're gonna do here in a couple weeks is we are gonna work on this information that you were handed. We're just assuming that you did a great buyer consultation and knew all of these things on your buyer, or you knew all of these things on your seller. But if you don't know these things, then negotiations get hard because you don't know what your clients are looking for. So a couple weeks we'll do that. That's the one after Kylie's interview. We're gonna do buyer consultation stuff. So go to, am I still on Zoom? Yep. Thanks, Ritz.